Alright guys, thanks to our friends at Oxford Dictionaries, I had to actually look up basketball terms, and what I did was I copied and pasted, and I had to do a little bit of editing, and I actually just went and isolated each one of these pieces of type, and I also made sure they were all caps. Okay, so it's important that you have them separated. And you'll also notice that I took spaces out. I'm actually going to get rid of the dashes as well. Okay, so no spaces, no dashes. We'll see how that looks. We may have to eliminate some of these larger words as well. But for now, that's what we've got, and those are pretty cool looking terms. So I'm just going to keep those over on the side in layer 2. And it doesn't matter if you're building outside of your artboard. That's what it's for. Keep all that stuff on the outside. Okay, now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to one of your favorite font sites. So I'm using Font Squirrel this morning, and great site for free downloads. Let's just go and show you. Here is your categories, and if you'd like to go into something that's a little bit more cartoony for this, take a look through, but let's go to, where was it again? Am I already in it? Yeah, I'm in comic fonts. But again, you could go to anything from sans serif to stencil to whatever your font is that you need. So let's try to pick one quick that's similar to the original right here. Now, if you look at this type, I would say this is a hand-drawn type, where they've gone and customized this. It looks really nice, and that's probably the best way to do something like this. But if you want to try out some of Illustrator's tools, this is another great way. So let's pick something chunky and round. Chunky and round. I usually use Distort, so I'm getting used to this site here. So I'll download one, and let's just take this one for example. Download the zip file, and we're just gonna double click the OTF, which is open type font, and you may get a TTF file, which is a true type font. Kind of the same thing, don't worry too much about that. Let's see if that font works for now. We're just going to close that up, and I'm going to minimize this. Whoops, don't forget the name of your font. What was that font called again? Rific. Okay, here we go. Let's minimize this. Let's go back here, and let's just copy one of these words over, scale it up pretty large, and see if that font works in our system. Okay, so there you go. You've got the font working now, and on to our next step. Okay, so we're actually going to take all those fonts. Actually, let's make a duplicate of that. So let's make a duplicate. We've got the original there, and type in RIF, which should come up with the rest. And there you go. So what I'm going to do, let's just take the font alley-oop, or the word alley-oop. I'm going to size that up. And notice that if we want to try to create that effect, you have to start creating subshapes. Okay, so this is where we're going to start to build inside of the shoe. Okay, there's a couple ways you could do this. You could actually go to the Pathfinder and you could slice this into sections. Oops. Do that. Do that. Okay, so you can actually break this object up. Okay, that's one way to do it. I'll undo that. It's a cool little tool there, your knife tool. Don't use it an awful lot, but it sure comes in handy. Great for beginners as well. I'm going to do a little bit more customizing just because I'm pretty quick with the pen tool. So I will create inside shapes. So I'm going to follow the contour of this and just see how this turns out. So let's create that shape right there. And so basically we want to make this type go into that shape or take the effect of that shape. So this is an important step. Let's make that type kind of squishy. You can use your bounding box tool or your scale tool, whatever works best for you. But the thing that you need to do, and let's just duplicate that again, just in case this doesn't work, is you need to go to type and create outlines. Okay, this is important for this to take effect because this shape and this shape can't work without it being converted to outlines. Okay, and we're also going to change the color of this just for demonstration purposes. So let's go to our color swatches wherever you are. I always forget this. I use it 100 times a day, but I'm always looking for it and I forget the keyboard shortcut. So here we go. We're going to change that to a red fill with no stroke. And I'm going to put this on top. Okay, so I'm going to go Object, Range, Bring to Front. Okay, and let's just color that a green for now. Okay, it's coming along. So here's where we're going to actually test this effect out. So now you have to select both items. So I'm going to hold Shift and select. So we have both items. And we're going to go to Envelope Distort, Make with Top Object. Okay, so now that's important to know because the top object defines the shape of the type. So we want to bring this shape to the front. So I just did a shortcut, but I went Arrange, Bring to Front, Shift Select. You've got both of them, and we're just going to bring that up. Sorry. What am I doing here? Sorry, guys. Top object. So there you go. You can see that effect take shape. Now, what this does by default is it does the best it can to try to mathematically condense or squish that font in. So I'm going to show you a better way to do that. Okay, so here's what we're going to try next. So there's your first option.